Is it time to end the Bud Light boycott? Why did the Boston mayor decide segregation was mainstream now? And what's going on with that Harvard professor who basically said it's okay to call for genocide? We're going to talk about all that today and more on Speechless. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Speechless. I'm your host, Kev Phares, 22-year-old college graduate, still a conservative, too. Basically a college graduate. I graduate in 2 days. If you listen to my last Sunday show, then you would know a lot about that. And I got really sappy and everything like that. But today's not going to be like that. Today is not going to be like that. No. Why is this at a different time? I know that maybe some of you guys were like, why is Kevin going live on a Thursday? Well, I'm actually pre-recording my radio show right now. I am still in studio. I will be moving to my home studio soon. Still going to have content on the radio, but I'm here now. And so I figured I have one more show to at least do from the studio. This is all going to go on the radio still on Sundays, but I'm going to start coming to you guys different days of the week, doing live streams, still talking, more content, more than ever, because I'll have more time in the next several months. So make sure, everybody, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, and share it with your friends. And if you're listening to the recorded version on the radio, everybody go check out my YouTube, Speechless with Kev, and definitely do all those things I just said. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and comment what you think. I always love seeing the comment section blow up, but we got a lot to talk about here today, guys. We got a lot. Bud Light. Is it time to end the boycott? This is one topic that I've been covering pretty much since day one of this channel. It feels like it's been months on months on months. In fact, out of CNN, the company reported a 13.5% decline in the third quarter of this year per 100 liters, which is a key measure of beer sales. And as ongoing backlash to Bud Light continues, Anheuser-Busch said that the sales to U.S. retailers declined by nearly 17%, primarily due to the volume decline of Bud Light. In response, the company cuts deals with wholesalers, including writing checks to distributors and increasing market spending on the brand. But that took a toll on the company's bottom line and contributed to a 29% decline in adjusted U.S. earnings. And in the event that you've been living under an absolute rock for the last 9 months, we gotta talk about exactly why this all started. And again, I've talked about it on my show, so I'll summarize it here. But essentially, Bud Light decided to have a man who pretends to be a woman, Dylan Mulvaney, to be an influencer for their brand. Why? Well, Alyssa Heinerscheid, the VP of marketing, I think might be former VP. She's been in hiding for a long time. A lot of people weren't very happy with that woman. But she said the brand was too fratty. It's just too fratty. So we're trying to shake things up here. Well, the primary consumer of the brand, the frat boys and the rednecks and the people that Alyssa seems to hate, blue collar people, average people, some college guys, they didn't like that too much. And now it's become a societal staple that if you are drinking a Bud Light, you must be attracted to the same sex. But I want to check in. I covered Dylan Mulvaney a lot on my channel. So why don't we just check in a little bit with how Mr. Mulvaney is actually doing. Here's a video I found, came out a little less than a month ago. Let's just see exactly how mentally healthy Dylan is. Take a look and a listen.
Today wasn't supposed to be a crying day.
Oh.
Why do I always feel like crying? Why do I always feel like crying? Don't do it, Dylan. Don't you dare. No! I feel a little better.
Oh, well. Today wasn't supposed to be a crying day for Dylan Mulvaney, but it seems like every day might be a crying day for somebody who is living a lie. That's essentially what's going on. Dylan Mulvaney is living a lie. And it seems to be that everybody, on the left at least, is encouraging that lie and saying, go you, queen, it's just fine. And Bud Light has still yet to apologize or anything. The interesting thing is that some that remained as catalysts for the impending doom that turned out to be what the Bud Light situation fiasco was, are now changing their tune. Kid Rock, who went viral back when the boycott started, he posted a video back then of him taking his machine guns and shooting up the Bud Light cases. Absolutely shooting them up, saying, F you, Bud Light, everything under the sun. Well, in a recent interview with Tucker Carlson that just came out on Tucker Carlson's new network, Kid Rock, the famed musician, had something a little different to share with that. Take a listen if you're on the radio. Take a look if you are on online to what Kid Rock had to say about the Bud Light situation now.
With this, I believe a lot of people fought and died for people's right to be whoever they want. But when you're that type of brand, you know who your consumers are. You know how this kind of started, I think. What I thought about it is they moved part of their corporate offices from St. Louis to New York City.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. Then they start hiring these Ivy League progressive, people to work for them who don't know shit about working class people or middle America in this country.
Unhappy women, yeah.
And so somebody wasn't watching the hen house. They're riding high and mighty as number one, and a fox gets in. Yes, it was a mistake. So do I want to hold their head underwater and drown them because they made a mistake? No, I think they got the message. Like, hopefully other companies get it too. But, at the end of the day, I don't think the punishment that they've been getting at this point fits the crime. It's like, I would like to see people get us back on board and become bigger, because that's the America I want to live in.
Well, it's better to improve than destroy.
So to Kid Rock, the punishment has not fit the crime. It's time to stop. It's time to let it go. They've paid their penance, according to Kid Rock, for once again going against their brand and also endorsing the transgender movement. Well, Kid Rock is not the only one who has called for the end of the Bud Light boycott. So is Dana White. Dana White, I've talked about. I had a previous YouTube video where I covered a little bit about what Dana White had to say about this. But in a recent interview also with Tucker Carlson just seems to be talking to everybody about the America's former favorite beer brand. But in an interview with Tucker Carlson in front of some UFC stuff, Dana White talked a little bit more about why people should be going back to Bud Light, why we should forgive and forget and carry on as if everything is normal. And so take a look and a listen now to Dana White's thoughts on what's going on with the Bud Light fiasco right here.
If you consider yourself a patriot, right? You're a patriot. You should be drinking gallons of Bud Light. Believe me when I tell you.
Wait. I should be boycotting Bud Light.
Gallons of Bud Light. You should have Bud Light drums stacked up in your garage and drinking it right out of the keg. They are way more aligned with you than most of these other beer companies are. That I guarantee you. Take it from somebody who's in the know, who does business with beer companies. You are way more aligned with Bud Light than you are with any other beer company.
I mean, they didn't come into partnership with you by accident.
No.
Obviously.
We had multiple bidders on the table.
Did they seek you out?
We had multiple bidders on the table. They were one of them. And as history has shown me with relationships that I've had with other beer companies, I, who lean more this way, I, who consider myself a patriot, I don't go crazy over the whole patriot thing, but I consider myself a proud American. I'm happy to be an American. I love this country. And you are way more aligned with Anheuser-Busch than you are with other beer companies.
So according to Dana White, to be a patriot, you must support Bud Light. Bud Light is the patriotic beer company. This isn't what we've been hearing from conservative pundits for the last several months. All of a sudden, a change of tune, especially when a $20 million plus contract with Bud Light falls in the lap of Dana White. Interesting. Not to mention the fact that it's hard to cast your support for a Belgian multinational corporation as patriotic. Very interesting idea. Look, here's the thing is I'm well aware that Anheuser-Busch has done a lot to push money towards veterans organizations, to help those that have served our country, and in many ways has done things that would be considered patriotic. But I'm also old enough to remember just a few years ago when they had Bud Light commercials that were talking about smashing the patriarchy and pushing the lie that is the men and women wage gap. So, is it really patriotic to support Anheuser-Busch, a multinational Belgian corporation? That's true. You can fact check me on it. Anheuser-Busch is a Belgian corporation. But Dana White would have you believe that they are the most patriotic. Well, I wonder what Dana White knows that I don't. And I'd love to be able to ask him that question, but it seems like it's not going to happen. One of the most interesting, though, pundits that is actually started coming on board with forgiving and forgetting Bud Light is Tim Pool. Tim Pool, who hosts his very famous Timcast, has now actually come in favor with Kid Rock and with Dana White of forgiving Bud Light. Listen here as to why.
Ourselves at a crossroads. Do we lament Kid Rock and Dana White in their support for Bud Light? I mean, Kid Rock coming out and saying this, he's effectively ending the boycott, at least as it pertains to him, not to you. And my position, we talked about this in great deal yesterday, is that we should take a PR victory, declare victory, and that's it. We won. But there are many people who are calling for the destruction of Bud Light as a brand. They say never again. Others say, I will drink a Bud Light, but only when they apologize. Now, my argument, I would say, is substantially more tactful and less emotionally satisfying. But I agree with Kid Rock and I agree with Dana White. But more importantly, I agree with Sean Strickland. The big move came when Dana White accepted a massive sponsorship deal from Bud Light to the tune of $105 million. Many of us were very upset about this. We said, why are you accepting money from this company that got woke, went broke, and continues to sponsor Pride events? Well, of course, Dana White said, we're going to take the money. It's the best deal ever, blah, blah, blah. Sean Strickland, MMA champion, said, Bud Light is now sponsoring everything I say. And then he went off to say a whole bunch of anti-woke things. And I like it. I think he's right. At first, I thought he was wrong. I thought these people were all selling out. But then I listened to what Sean had to say, and I realized he flipped the script. He inverted the narrative on Bud Light, and Bud Light has not condemned him. And that is, my friends, a tremendous victory.
So because Bud Light didn't say anything, we must forgive them now. That's Tim Pool's argument. We must forgive and forget because Bud Light simply remained silent. When one of their new influencers, Sean Strickland, comes out and unequivocally says, men are men, women are women, you can't change that, and such things. Well, Matt Walsh, popular commentator for the Daily Wire, took a bit of a different tune in all of this as well. He said, in a recent editorial published by the Daily Wire, he said, Bud Light, the foreign-owned brand, as I mentioned, tried to push the trans ideology. It spat in the face of its own customers. For once in our lives, for once in modern American history, conservatives fought back in an organized, competent, effective way. We organized a boycott and we stuck with it. We actually made the woke company feel the pain. We imposed our will in a way conservatives have never been able to do. The Bud Light boycott is by far, and it's not even close, the most effective conservative boycott of a major company of all time. There isn't even a close second. In fact, it's fair to say that this is not just the most effective, but actually the only successful boycott we've ever staged. We'd have to have a very compelling strategic reason to end this one single successful boycott. We would have to have extracted some kind of major concession. But what concession have they made? They gave Dana White, I lied earlier, not $20 million, $100 million. So what? That's not a concession. That's not an apology. That's a marketing ploy. Are we going to end the Bud Light boycott and start giving them our money because we like their new marketing plan? That wouldn't be us ending a boycott victoriously. That would be a retreat. It would be the very definition of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. And that's exactly what Republicans and conservatives do all the time. Look at 2022. Look at 2020. If you look at our previous election cycles at work, it's exactly true. That's what conservatives and Republicans do. They get on the brink of success and then call it quits. They call it quits right before the big win. Not to mention the fact that when it comes to the light beer market, especially that attracts people that are very attracted to Bud Light, the competition is almost perfect. If you line up to the average beer drinker, look, I know there's a lot out there that were drinking Bud Light and other light beers that could easily tell the difference. But if you line up Bud Light, Coors Light, and Miller Light, and you had a taste test, I guarantee you the majority of people would not be able to tell the difference. The majority of average beer drinkers. They wouldn't. It's not a hard switch, and the majority of Bud Light or former Bud Light drinkers have now switched And they're just as fine drinking a Modelo, a Coors, a Miller. They're perfectly fine with it. It was not a hard boycott to achieve. And Matt Walsh is perfectly right when he says that we would need a major concession. And that's the other thing, because I know some of the people that watch my videos and listen are not necessarily open to ever ending the boycott. So that's why I say, while I agree with Matt, I'd also say that there's a point to call, there's a point that the people that want to end it have when they say that we shouldn't call for a boycott to no end. If we're saying to burn Bud Light to the ground no matter what, then we aren't really staging a boycott at all. We are staging a demolition. And maybe that's what some people want. Like I said, there are some that have called for that on my YouTube channel. But to me, a boycott is much more important. A boycott says, here's your way out. If you want to be back in good graces, if you want me back as a customer, here's how you do it. If we don't have an ask, then how are we any better than the left? Seriously, how are we? How are we better than cancel culture? We always tend to complain about cancel culture. People, YouTube, likely right now, ScrewTube as I call it, making it so less people see my videos because they know I'm telling the truth. How can we be against cancel culture and call for an end to Bud Light, bar none, with no out? Cancel culture in and of itself is remorseless. It says that no matter what you did, your original sin, whatever got you into bad graces in the first place, there's no way to reconcile it. I think reconciliation is possible. Maybe that's just the Catholic in me. I don't know. But I think reconciliation is possible. And this might even be contradictory to something I've said in previous podcasts. There might have been a time where I might have said, because I don't remember everything I say all the time, but there might have been a time where I said, burn it to the ground no matter what, or a derivative of that. And if so, I'm sorry. Because after further thought, I realize what we need to do is offer, there needs to be some level of an out, but it cannot simply be, well, Kid Rock says we've gone too far, or Tim Pool says that, well, they've remained silent when somebody anti-woke recognizes it or is part of their influencer program. No, it can't be that. What we need, and I'm curious what you guys need. Leave me a comment. Let me know, what would Bud Light have to do to get back into our good graces? But in my opinion, what we need from Bud Light is a groveling apology, them practically on their knees, apologizing to women, apologizing to their consumer base, making clear that they had serious issues and a serious misstep in their marketing with having Dylan Mulvaney, a man who pretends to be a woman, be one of their influencers. That is what we would need, in my opinion. And it's progressed as well. Not to, like this whole thing doesn't even mention the idea that, hey, had they come out and apologized, because I do remember at one point they made a very, very vague apology, just saying like, we're doing our best. And that's about it. It was barely even an apology. Now, where we are at now, we need the groveling. And we should not give up, because as Matt Walsh said, this is the first time ever that conservatives have staged a successful boycott that has actually had weight to it. And this boycott was more successful than the one that began with Target, and more successful than any others that have been attempted to be started. There was one that was briefly trying to go on with Best Buy. It seems like that didn't work. The Bud Light boycott must persist until the wishes are granted. It cannot simply be, well, they seem to be better now, I guess. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I have more to cover here, but I do want to take a quick second to say thanks. I know, again, that this is not my usual time. You might be tuning in. I am live right now, genuinely live. This is not pre-recorded or anything. I'm pre-recording my radio show in studio before my graduation this Saturday. Andrea, I'm not necessarily off the air. I pre-record now. So I am back in. I am in studio because my graduation is still not until Saturday. I'm pre-recording my show for Sunday. Let everybody know. I know some people might have been confused and everything, but this is not, I will still be on the radio. It just will not be live shows anymore. That's what I was celebrating kind of and reminiscing about on Sunday. But thank you for joining today, Andrea. Thank you, Willie D, for joining. And Demon Girl, who isn't real, thank you as always. Where art thou, subscribers? I know it's an unconventional time. I'm sure they'll probably watch at a later time, but get used to it, guys. If I say I'm going live, I'm going live. Not totally a last minute decision, but I know that people's schedules are different and expect me at different times. So once again, Andrea, thank you so much for that. I did today send you the email that I got from Next Exit. I don't know if he'll be joining us at any time, but hopefully that matchmaking works out a little bit for you guys. I don't know. I know there's a bit of a distance there, but there's nothing wrong with a distance relationship if you know they're the one. But I have some more things to cover here. I'll start getting into my next story. Definitely make sure you guys are sharing this with your friends, getting it out there. Keep the comment section rolling. That'll help people see that I'm currently live. So let's get it going. Share your thoughts on everything I'm talking about. And when I get to a break point, I will absolutely make sure I get to your guys' thoughts as well. I also want to give, always let you guys know, especially as Christmas is coming up and I'm moving home and I'd like to be able to invest more in the show. If you would be willing to support the show a little bit, there's my Venmo and my Cash App. As I always say, I'm not going to beg because I know that in Joe Biden's economy, it's not always easy when it comes to money. That's why I'm asking for any help that you guys can. If you want to support the show, I'd heavily appreciate it through those means. You could also go to unitedmerch.com, use code speechless at checkout for 20% off. It's another way you can support the show. And as always, you can consistently like, subscribe, and share the content. Sharing the content is super important. Gets eyes on it as soon as humanly possible. But let's get back to some different content here. The Boston mayor, I don't know if you guys heard about this one, but the Boston mayor promotes segregation. This is out of the Daily Wire. Democratic Boston Mayor Michelle Wu is facing criticism after a member of her administration sent out an email invitation for a Christmas party that excludes white officials. I'm going to start saying it. I know some people hate it. I know at least one person watching hates this, but excludes white officials. City Council Relations Director Denise Dos Santos, not like any relation to Ron DeSantis, mistakenly sent out the email to all city council members inviting them to Electeds of Color holiday party. On behalf of Michelle Wu, I cordially invite you and a guest to the Electeds of Color holiday party on Wednesday, December 13th at 5:30 p.m. at the Parkman House, Dos Santos wrote. 15 minutes later, Dos Santos sent out another email apologizing for sending the first email to all council members, indicating that it wasn't supposed to be sent out to white members of the council. You weren't supposed to know about it. She said, quote, I want to apologize for my previous email regarding the holiday party for tomorrow. I did send that to everyone by accident. I apologize if my email may have offended or came across as so. She also wrote, according to Boston 25 News, sorry for any confusion this may have caused. Wu defended, so the mayor defended the party, which has reportedly been going on for years, saying that there were all kinds of events designed for different groups of people. I can understand someone might be confused or worried if certain people weren't being invited at all or were being left out of any type of celebration, but I assure you, everyone on the Boston City Council has gotten an invitation to multiple types of events and holiday parties, Wu said. I wonder if there is a whites-only Christmas party or holiday party. Doubt it. But Wu has been accused of racial discrimination even in the past over her comments and her administration's policies earlier this year. Wu was sued by a group of white restaurant owners who say they were targeted for city fees in part due to their ethnic heritage. According to the restaurant owners, Wu and the city singled them out for a $7,500 outdoor dining fee, a fee which only applied to establishments in their neighborhood. The lawsuit was later withdrawn after a series of legal setbacks for the restaurant owners. Wu was also criticized for a joke about being about, quote, used to dealing with problems that are expensive, disruptive, and white. Okay, so this entire story fascinates me. Because first off, we are literally normalizing segregation once again. It's not the first time I've talked about this. There's college graduations that are segregated. They offer college graduations that are, this is only for students of color. There are other segregated events that are held all across the country, only for people of color, which also is interesting to me. They switch the words around. Like, apparently you're not supposed to say this. I'm serious. And I'm just using it for reference so that nobody tries to cancel me. Go try to cancel me. I don't really care. But It's not okay to say colored people nowadays, but it's okay to say people of color. This is how they changed the word. It doesn't make sense to me, whatever, but I digress. We are normalizing segregation once again in this country, except for instead of it being, again, just as bad as it was back in the 1950s and before, then it was white people segregating the people of color. Now it's everyone else segregating the white people. This isn't about equality. No one wants, or no one on the left wants equality. They want, as they've said before, reparations. But reparations don't only come in the form of Gavin Newsom cutting checks for every black resident in California. No, they also come, the way they take them is by creating segregation, this time at the expense of white people. And the problem with the leftist and BLM rhetoric that we've had for years now, which would start it off as just as things Obama would say about racial discrimination, how it's continuing and persistent from the 1960s to now, and not much has changed. Well, now it's become white supremacy is the greatest threat to America, and everything associated with whiteness is bad. And it's also devolved simply into the hatred of white people in general. I'm serious. There are people out there of all colors, including those that are white, that simply hate anything that's associated with being white. And here's an example of it. There was this teacher I found on Libs of TikTok. Hear what she had to say. So she was just creating like lesson plans and stuff, and in like a PowerPoint or in a hang up that she had in her room. This is what really made her mad. I'm serious. This is something that actually made her mad. Take a look and a listen.
Happy Friday, but can I ask you a serious question?
No.
How is it 2023 and this, I'll show you in a minute, is what we are saying the majority of families look like? This.
Just a normal, just for everybody, if you're only listening or something, it's just and not normal because white. It's just a mom, dad, and a kid that happen to be white. And it's also like in a flipping, it's a division fact family practice book, multiplication and division fact family practice book. It doesn't even say anywhere that this is what a normal family looks like, as the teacher would have you believe. It's literally just a picture on the front of a practice book. She's got more to say, though. Listen.
This is the majority families. Don't get me wrong. There are families like that. And those families have plenty of things dedicated to them. Movies and books and holidays and all the things.
What holiday? I might get fact checked on this one, but what holiday is only for straight white families? What holiday? Tell me. I can't tell you. What holiday is specifically only, no one else can celebrate it, is only for straight white families. Because I could tell you very, very exclusive holidays that if a white person were to celebrate it, people would look at them weird. There's the fake holiday of Kwanzaa. I don't believe Kwanzaa is real. I don't. Tell me somebody who genuinely, non-ironically, genuinely, and can also explain to me where Kwanzaa came from and how it's a real thing. That's imagine a white person celebrating fake Kwanzaa. Or like Juneteenth. How is that like, no, they're exclusive. What about Pride Month? Pride Month isn't for a straight family. There are so many holidays that are exclusive from white people and straight families. Oh, but as soon as anybody puts a white family on the front of a coloring book, this white woman is furious. Keep listening.
Why, like, if we're really getting serious about what people think teachers are doing in the classroom, why is that on a book? Why is that a picture representing families? I'm just asking on this Friday. That's it.
It was a dumb question that you shouldn't be asking because it's at the front. I guarantee you, ask any kid in the classroom. They flip after that first page. If they are able to tell you what the family exactly looked like without looking at it, they would not be able to tell you. It's not a real thing that anybody cares about except for this whack job of a teacher. Seriously. But that's the anti-white rhetoric that I'm talking about is like literally because of the way that the left has framed this. Not only that, but we also have the Nashville shooter who in the leaked manifesto from Steven Crowder had a significant level of anti-white rhetoric. But oh, the horror, a straight white family is being depicted in a multiplication practice book for like kindergartners. Oh, so terrible. But if that wasn't enough for you, take a look and a listen at this one. This is also a TikTok. That's where I seem to find some of my most interesting videos from these lefties. But this one also takes the cake. It's just absolutely insane. Take a look and a listen.
If there's one thing that I wish white people understood, it is this. Your whiteness is the heaviest thing about you. It is so heavy that it outweighs any and all other marginalizing identities.
Oh.
Now, this is not to say that other identities aren't heavy. This is not to say that other identities aren't hard to carry. But it is to say that your whiteness in a white supremacist society like the United States is the key to care, empathy, dignity, support, justice, and freedom that people of color with the exact same marginalizing identities as you cannot access because they are people of color. Your white is heavier than your woman. Your white is heavier than your trans. Your white is heavier than your disabled. Your white is heavier than your poverty. Your whiteness is the heaviest thing about you. Think on that.
Oh, man. There's not really much to think about when it comes to that. She'll say think on that, but to her, all we are is our identities. All we are is our immutable characteristics, the things that we cannot change. She did say woman, and apparently you can change that in 2023, but you could change that. Yeah. But the point of all this is we are all only our race. That's the way that we are seen. And if you're white, that's the heaviest thing about you. Nothing else matters. That is what we are apparently divided on in this country, purely. If you are white, nothing else matters. That's the message. Think on that, sweetheart. Seriously, though, can you believe the Boston mayor segregates people? We have a teacher that goes crazy over the fact that there's a white family depicted. And we have this person who claims that your whiteness is heavier than any other potential identity. How shallow do you have to be to think that there is nothing deeper to somebody than the color of their skin? You know, I could tell you exactly the kind of person that would think like that. Go back 100 years and talk to to some of the founding members of the new KKK. And when I say the new KKK, there was different waves of it back during the Civil War, and then there was a new wave of it in the 1920s-ish time era. But those are the same people that would reduce you simply to your skin color. You are nothing more. You are less than human. Humanity doesn't even matter. It's your skin color that matters the most. All of your experiences are negated because of your skin color. And that is their lie. Why do they push it? For consistent division so that people fall back in line with their racial stereotypes. And there's another perfect example of this when it comes to a Harvard University professor, but I do want to make sure I get to everybody in the comments section because I appreciate you joining and being a part of the stream. Let's see what everybody's got going on in here. I see that there's a lot of different comments, and I appreciate all of the support that you guys are giving me by coming in. Again, I know it's an unconventional time to be live right now, but stop saying it like that. White. Thank you for matchmaking, Kev. I do my best. Like I said, I will be the person that officiates the wedding, if that's what you want. This woman is a racist pig. There's a lot of racist pigs out there. And I could tell you the majority of them are on the left. Let's see what else is going on here. They want revenge. Absolutely. Hey, everyone. Didn't Germany start just like that? Congratulations, Demon Goral, on that. Very proud of you. I'm in the same boat, kind of. But yes, thank you, each and every one of you, for joining. Once again, share this with your friends. Let them know I am live. I know it's unconventional. I'm going to see if there anybody on Rumble or anything. I see some people watching on Rumble. You can comment on Rumble too. I won't be able to bring it up on the screen, but I will look at it and I can read it for you guys. I am live and I appreciate you joining. You're the best, Andrea. You're the best. Real heart out to you. You're the best. And I wish you and Next Exit a lifetime of happiness. Hot take. I hate it when Karens say all the things. Tell me you're annoying without telling me you're annoying. Absolutely. I hate when people are like that. It's like, it makes me feel all the things. All the things. So stupid. All the things. That's how they sound to me. Each and every one of them. Each and every one of them. But I got more to cover here. Keep that comment section rolling. Keep on sharing, everybody. I am live, real live, not pretend live or anything. And I'm here to talk to you guys about all these different stories, everything that I got going on. But have you guys heard about this Harvard professor? Have you guys heard about it? If you have, let me know in the comments. But we're going to get into it now. So, out of the Daily Wire, as I said previously for a lot of other articles, I just like the Daily Wire. They do a really good job of finding good news. But embattled Harvard University professor Claudine Gay, what an unfortunate last name, is under fire for allegedly plagiarizing portions of her PhD dissertation. And if you need a reminder of exactly who Claudine Gay is, you might have seen not too long ago, she is the president of Harvard, and she made some statements to Congress regarding the protests that have been happening on Ivy League college campuses. What exactly she said imitated very similarly to that of the other presidents that were up with her that really didn't do anything to, well, all they did was promote anti-Semitism to an extent, or at least say that it's more than allowed and there's no problem with it on their college campuses. Can I say I'm surprised? Not necessarily, but take a look and a listen at exactly what Claudine Gay had to say less than a month ago at these congressional hearings right here.
Today, at Harvard, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
It can be, depending on the context.
What's the context?
Targeted as an individual, at an individual.
It's
Clear,
targeted at
pervasive.
Jewish students, Jewish individuals. Do you understand your testimony is dehumanizing them? Do you understand that dehumanization is part of anti-Semitism? I will ask you one more time. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric.
And is it anti-Semitic rhetoric?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric when it crosses into conduct that amounts to bullying, harassment, intimidation, that is actionable conduct, and we do take action.
So the answer is yes, that calling for the genocide of Jews violates Harvard Code of Conduct, correct?
Again, it depends on the context.
It does not depend on the context. The answer is yes, and this is why you should resign. These are unacceptable answers across the board.
Absolutely. They were unacceptable answers. I never really got a chance to cover that on my show. Didn't fit in too much with some of the other content that I was talking about in the last few weeks. But it does now. It does now. And so we're going to talk. That was Claudine Gay, the president of Harvard. And as I said, she's now coming under fire for allegedly plagiarizing portions of her PhD dissertation, which concerns racial themes, for her doctorate in political science from Harvard back in 1997. Journalist Christopher F. Rufo, a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute, published a report on Sunday outlining what he indicated to be 3 instances of Gay plagiarizing her Harvard standards in the dissertation. The dissertation was called Taking Charge, Black Electoral Success and the Redefinition of American Politics. I can even pull them up on screen. So if you're listening on the radio after this is recorded, definitely go check out. You can see everything on screen. If you like, subscribe, share, and comment and on my channel, you can find this video right there. It's called Is It Time to End the Bud Light Boycott? Check it out. But here we go. I'm going to show you guys this right here of instances in which the Claudine Gay actually plagiarized specifically. So the original source, which is from Bobo and Gillum, page 337, this was published back in 1990, you can see there are paragraphs using 1987 national sample survey data, using 1987 survey data, blacks in high black empowerment areas, as indicated by the control of the mayor's office. It's right there, are more active than either African American. There's full sentences. Empowerment influences black participation by contributing to a more trusting and a vacuous orientation towards politics and greatly increasing black attentiveness to political affairs. It's literally there in color, actually. More and more sentences and phrases. As for whites, and Bobo and Gill 1990 found that the pay less. So she did, in fact, at one point, try to cite, but improperly cite some of the portions of it. But you can see, as I'm going through it here, the highlighted portions more and more and more are directly instances of plagiarism, which also, as stated earlier, violate Harvard's code of conduct. And it goes further, more and more paragraphs throughout her entire dissertation. There's pages and pages and pages that I'm bringing up here and showing on screen of instances in which the president of Harvard, that's once again the biggest thing of all this, the president of Harvard, to get her political science master's that ultimately set her on the track to become the president of Harvard, much of it was plagiarized. Significant parts of it were plagiarized. Pages upon pages upon pages. But that's not it. That's not all. Plagiarism, I want to be clear too, plagiarism standards in universities are incredibly high. Even the slightest whiff of it can land anyone an expulsion. An expulsion from the place that you paid thousands of dollars to attend. Not to mention the fact that it just reflects poorly on you, makes you look lazy and unattentive. I've always thought the entire idea of kind of plagiarism was funny because in every class, every semester, you receive a syllabus. And in that syllabus, in a section, there is a section regarding plagiarism. And almost every one reads exactly the same, which kind of in and of itself sounds like plagiarism to me. But I digress a bit there. The point is, Harvard, which has been hailed the university, when people think of college or the University of America, the American Oxford, if you will, they think Harvard. And it's been under much scrutiny by both myself and many others in the media in recent months for its plain as day wokeness. It's plain as day wokeness. This is the fall of the American Ivy League. This is the destruction of the American Ivy League. And it's been a long time coming. Hopefully, this instance would open people's minds to the crap that goes on college campuses by and large. But the plot does thicken, as I said. Harvard is defending Claudine Gay after these revelations of plagiarism. Harvard is defending Gay and her apparent plagiarism. Why? Well, out of the New York Post, one of the academics accusing Harvard President Claudine Gay of copying her work has blasted the Ivy League school for redefining plagiarism by standing by her, claiming that she was only saved because she's, quote, its first black president. Carol Swain, a former political science professor at Vanderbilt, spoke out hours after Harvard said it was standing by the embattled president, even while conceding some of her academic work needed correcting after an investigation into the plagiarism claims. Swain said, quote, "I feel like her whole research agenda, her whole career was based on my work. My blood pressure is rising today because of Harvard's decision that what she did doesn't constitute plagiarism, and it doesn't rise to the level of her removal." Harvard Corporation's decision to stand by the embattled president is, quote, "very demeaning to every person, not just racial and ethnic minorities, but anyone who has worked in school, who's written papers, who's tried to follow the guidelines and worked hard, period." And Swain's right. But she continues, obviously, the Harvard Corporation did not have the courage to fire its first black president, someone who should never have been elevated to her place in the first place. They have decided they would rather lower standards for everyone rather than hold her, who attended the most, elite schools in America, to the same standards that average Americans are held to. They're lowering their standards to fit for their first Black woman president of Harvard. And despite, this is me now, despite constant screams from the left that I'm privileged because I'm a straight white male, it would seem that that word, privilege, might actually be more applicable to a Black woman in this instance. Let's think about it. Do a thought exercise. And I'll just ask the question, and it can remain rhetorical, or you can let me know in the comments. If you're on the radio, go make sure you check out Speechless with Kev on YouTube. But if a white guy was in this exact same position, had said those anti-Semitic, or basically defended to an extent anti-Semitism in Congress, then was recognized that his entire career was based on plagiarism, where do you think he'd be right now? Do you think Harvard would be fighting tooth and nail to keep him around lowering standards? I'll let you answer that. But the story even gets more interesting because not only is Harvard coming out publicly and defending and saying that Claudine Gay did nothing wrong, the New York Post is actually claiming that Harvard University covered up a high-level investigation into whether its controversial president was a plagiarist and used an expensive law firm to threaten the Post over their own probe. The college announced Tuesday morning that it investigated Gay over whether some of her academic work was plagiarized and had cleared her of breaching the college's standards for research misconduct, which once again, if you look at the research misconduct standards, she absolutely plagiarized. But I digress. The Post can disclose that Harvard spent weeks failing to come clean about Gay being under investigation, staying quiet even when she was hauled in front of Congress for disastrous testimony on how the Ivy League college is dealing with anti-Semitism on campus. Harvard only disclosed the investigation when the university's governing body, Harvard Corporation, said it had unanimously stood behind her despite a firestorm of criticism for her evidence to Congress. The Post contacted the university on October 24th, asking for comment. And this is before the congressional testimony. But the Post contacted the university on October 24th, asking for comment on more than 24 instances in which Gay's words appeared to closely parallel words, phrases, and sentences in published works by other academics. When the Post brought the allegations to Harvard, Jonathan Swain, its senior executive director of media relations and communications, asked for more time to review Gay's work. A day later, Jonathan Swain, who was part of, actually, this is an important note, he was part of the Biden-Harris transition team and a one-time Hillary Clinton aide, said he would, quote, get back in touch over the next couple of days. He never did. And 2 days later, on October 27th, the Post was sent a 15-page letter by Thomas Clare, a high-powered Virginia-based attorney with a firm called Clare Locke, who identified himself as a defamation counsel for Harvard University and Gay. The letter contained comments from academics whose work Gay was alleged to have improperly cited, even though the political scientists' reviews could only have just begun. So there was no way they actually had letters from those political scientists because their reviews had just begun. But let me lay all of this out for you. Everything that I've gone through. Black woman becomes the first Black female president of Harvard. Not much later, she essentially defends calls for genocide and anti-Semitism on what is considered to be America's most elite campus. Simultaneously, she is being investigated for plagiarism that got her the success she has. Harvard defends her tooth and nail, going so far as to sic a defamation attorney on the Post. So what does that mean when they sic a defamation attorney? Basically what they're saying is that they're trying to subtly threaten and say, if you go through with this stuff, if you go through with saying she's a plagiarist, or at least outlining a story that could deem her as a plagiarist, then we will sue you for defamation. That's essentially what they tried to do. And people will still say, that by and large, Black people are deeply oppressed in America. Women are deeply oppressed in America, that we live in a racist nation, and that white supremacy is a major threat. Okay. You're funny. Because once again, there's no exact way to know. I'm sure there's some public examples of something comparable. But if I was in that exact same position, I guarantee you, my defense would not be there the way that Claudine Gay's defense is. I can promise you that. What do you guys think? Don't forget, as you guys are tuning in, to like, subscribe, share, and comment, all that fun stuff. But I want to see what you guys are saying in the comments here. I appreciate you guys joining. Let's go and see what has been going on. That she's a degenerate? Yes. OMG, Kev, I don't remember exactly what this is to, but thank you. She shouldn't be in power of Porta John, much less where she is now. You wrote me a poem. Send it. I want to read it. Please. I would love to read the poem. Please, please, please. Next exit, I cannot agree more. Yeah, people just take their kids out and let it crumble. Nope. I guess the only reason is because the owner of A&B came out with Trump at UFC. You all get easily distracted by shiny things, huh? Yeah, maybe. There's no difference in the color of skin when we all bleed the same color. Absolutely. I just got a text. I'm going to see. Oh, I've just been informed. I don't know if you guys ever saw, but at one point on my show, I did a reaction video to this individual who goes to restaurants to purposefully be misgendered and posts it all over TikTok and everything like that. And apparently that person is live right now. I can maybe cover that a little bit. If you guys would like, let me know in the comments. But I do have some other content I want to get to as well. Let's get into some quick hits. I know I kind of been doing this every few shows. Quick hits, things that I might not have a lot to say about, but I think are worth knowing. So, quick hits of this week as of December 14th, 2023. If you aren't already convinced that college campuses indoctrinate America's youth, listen to this. Once again, out of the Daily Wire, a new poll of adult Americans found that 20% of 18 to 29-year-olds believe that the Holocaust in World War II, in which 6 million Jews were murdered, including 1 million children. So 20% of 18 to 29-year-olds believe that the Holocaust is a myth. Seriously, 20% of 18 to 29-year-olds, while 77% of adults older than 29 disagreed with calling the Holocaust a myth. A YouGov/The Economist survey of 1,500 American adults found that among the 18 to 29 age group, only 46% it was anti-Semitic to deny the Holocaust ever occurred, as opposed to 67% among the rest of the population surveyed. The survey asked if respondents agreed with statements such as, quote, Jews have too much power in America, or, quote, people should boycott Israeli goods and products, Israeli exploits Holocaust victimhood for its own purposes, Israel has too much control over global affairs, and, quote, the interests of Israelis are at odds with the interests of the rest of the world. So I asked whether they agree or disagree with all those. The 18 to 29 age bracket answered in the affirmative more so than any other group, the Jerusalem Post reported. Look, here's the thing with that one. 20% doesn't sound like much, but it's a lot more concerning when you consider the subject matter. 20% of people in my age group, 18 to 29, believe the Holocaust never happened. Never happened. So you want to know why there are pro-Hamas activists? Maybe it's because many of them are too stupid to know that the Holocaust did happen, and there are piles and piles of evidence to prove it. If you are a Holocaust denier, if you believe it didn't happen, go visit Auschwitz. Go visit the Holocaust Museum in D.C. You think it's all staged? You think it's all staged? And the funny thing is that these are the same people that'll likely tell you, I guarantee you that these are the same people that'll likely tell you that America is still a racist nation, that everybody's oppressed in America unless you're a straight white guy. Those are the same people. So you want to know why anti-Semitism is on the rise? It's because people don't know their history. And if I didn't already convince you with everything else, I guarantee you part of this is the colleges people are going to. Look at Harvard. When you have 3 separate universities, presidents go to Congress and say that depending on the circumstances, calling for the homicide of Jewish people may or may not homicide, genocide of Jewish people may or may not be against their code of conduct, of course people are going to be thinking this way, that the Holocaust never happened and that Jews run the world and all this crazy, crazy crap. American universities, a lot of them, not all of them, not every single professor, everything like that. I'm just generalizing. But a lot of them are causing the destruction of intelligence, critical thinking, and individual thought in American society. Not to mention the fact the destruction of plain history as well. They'll do it with critical race theory. They'll distort and destroy American history. Apparently, they're also doing it with world history in terms of the Holocaust. So that's just my 2 cents on that one. Also out of the Daily Wire, number 2, a former Facebook global diversity strategist pled guilty to stealing more than $4 million from the company through a, quote, elaborate scheme involving fraudulent vendors, fictitious charges, and cash kickbacks, federal prosecutors said on Tuesday. Barbara Furlow Smiles, that's her name, Barbara Furlow Smiles, 38, pled guilty to wire fraud related to the scheme, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Atlanta said in a statement. Furlow Smiles led diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, programs at Facebook between January 2017 and September 2021. As Facebook's lead strategist and global head of employee resource groups and diversity engagement, Furlow Smiles was responsible for developing and executing DEI initiatives, operations, and engagement programs, prosecutors said. And here's the thing. So essentially, you had a Facebook employee that was hired to be a DEI strategist, diversity, equity, and inclusion, stole stuff from the company. Does this surprise anybody? I would argue that all diversity and equity inclusion focused employees and programs are in some way stealing from a company and usually also violating anti-discrimination laws. But okay. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't know. But I mean, if your entire job is to say, we need more black people, we need more women, and not be like, hey, like maybe we should have like good people in our jobs. Doesn't really matter their race or their gender. Let's just like advance the company. Then I think in some way you're stealing from the company. But like I said, does this really surprise anybody? The whole DEI thing is a grift in and of itself, a political and social grift to get people divided on the shallowest forms of identification and thus fall in line with what is expected of them based on racial stereotypes. It's demeaning and reinforces the soft bigotry of low expectations. This is exactly what happened with the Harvard professor and the fact that they lowered their plagiarism standards so that she could still be the first black woman president, despite the fact that she lied and cheated to get to where she is. This is the same thing as everything with the radicalized segregation that the Boston mayor is now doing. It is all the same. It's soft bigotry of low expectations, as well as changing the entire social fabric and setting us back 100 years in terms of race relations. That is exactly what DEI does. And yes, it was a Facebook employee, and it's kind of hilarious that it's big tech kind of getting eaten by their own, but they should have known it was going to happen. Anybody who goes into a role like that in some way is already a grifter, in my opinion, if they push the kind of crap that the left does. But speaking of low expectations, number 3, Jill Biden had a weird White House Christmas video that went viral. And not necessarily because it was good. And so if you're listening to the recording on the radio, I'm sorry, but go check out this video on social media and everything like that. But you just got to see exactly what this video looks like and sounds like. It's honestly hilarious. So I'm sharing my screen on the live stream right now. Go check it out. Speechless with Kev Phares. It's right here for everybody to see. Yeah, so that was basically all you really need to see and hear of that. But what the heck was that? Many on social media are saying that it's Hunger Games-esque. You know, if you ever watched the popular Hunger Games movie, when you saw Katniss Everdeen go to the Capitol in the first one, you see all these people dressing really weird, some with different animal masks on and just odd things. And it was supposed to show the difference between classes. And if anything, I kind of agree with that. It's just absolutely insane to me that Jill Biden would think that this is cool. Who would think that's cool? It's weird. But not only is it weird, the other thing is that actually, according to, let me see here, according to End Wokeness, reported, they're on Twitter, he reported on Twitter that the group behind the viral Biden Christmas video is a radical anti-white group called Dorrance Dance. On the group's website, they call for defunding the police, abolishing prisons, and even quote Marxist terrorist Angela Davis. The site has an entire section dedicated to anti-white literature. The anti-white people communist propaganda is everywhere, folks. But I want to compare it. I have an analysis of this, but I want to compare it real quick to when Melania Trump was president. Because that weird, odd, almost nothing to do with Christmas video from Dr. Jill Biden, is very different from when Melania Trump was the first lady. So take a listen. If you're on the radio, take a look online to this. This is when Melania Trump was president. Much classier, in my opinion. There's gifts that say faith and love. Beautiful chandeliers showing off all the Christmas trees and the lights. The White House train. An American flag ornament, be best. Oh, beautiful flowers. All the different state ornaments as well. America the Beautiful is what it says on the train at the end there. It's absolutely amazing. Look, here's the thing as I ask you, to the viewer and the listener, who would you trust with making something beautiful? Even without seeing those ads, who would you trust with making something beautiful? Dr. Jill Biden or Melania Trump? Melania Trump. Dr. Jill Biden or Melania Trump? Who would you trust with making something more beautiful? Just saying. Not that it has major political ramifications to it in terms of that question. But once again, when I bring up the fact that the people that made the Jill Biden advert or Christmas video, the fact that they are aligned with Marxism, defunding the police, abolishing prisons, it makes sense that Joe Biden would have that with him. The anti-white people, communist propaganda is everywhere, even in Joe Biden's White House at Christmas time. And now hopefully he gets coal. Hopefully Joe gets coal. But isn't it ironic that a holiday that tends to revolve around consumerism is being celebrated and advertised by communists? Look, and I understand. I know the real meaning of Christmas. I celebrate it as a Catholic Christian holiday. I know that. But when you look at, there is a Hallmark Christmas, a Hallmark version of the holiday that even atheists can't resist to celebrate. And so isn't it ironic that when the Hallmark version of Christmas, all about buying, spending, giving gifts and everything like that, and just being a consumer in the capitalist society, is being celebrated in the White House by communists? I don't know. Kind of ironic to me. But also, I got to say, I can't say I'm surprised by Dr. Jill Biden on this one. On Easter, this is just a rewind for you. On Easter, the Biden White House had the Philadelphia Flyers mascot twerking in front of the White House. For their Pride event over the summer, you guys might be old enough to remember that they had a topless tranny. For Christmas, having an anti-white Marxist interpretive dance with men dressed as flowers is totally on brand for them, honestly. And anything less than that would have been as surprising as America's largest frat boy redneck beer company having a delusional man who cosplays as a woman be one of their influencers. Who would think that would happen, right? 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 Yeah. It's a backwards world we are currently living in. It is. It's a backwards world. But to the Biden White House, they're just going to keep perpetuating it. Because those at the top and those on the left would have no problem seeing America, the America we know, the America we love, the America that we are meant to be based on our founding documents. They would have no problem watching it burn to the ground. That's not just because of a Christmas video. It's due to everything else that's going on in our country right now. But I want to take a second to take a look at what's going on with y'all in the comments section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that fun stuff. Thank you all for joining. I see you said you sent it to me already. Can I read it on air? Can I read the poem on air? I would like to. It was scary. Divide and conquer. Absolutely. The people who think it's fake are the new Nazis, because if these dopes truly understood how horrific the Holocaust was, they would not be about it. True. What was it? Buffoonery by buffoons. Commies don't like the holidays. Keep up on your Trump impressions you're getting. You're getting better, Kev. You're getting better. I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. I don't know. It's the greatest show on YouTube. Speechless with Kev Phares. You gotta like, you gotta subscribe, and he'll tell you, you gotta comment. Don't forget to comment and share it with your friends. All your friends, your greatest friends. I think I'm getting better. Maybe. I don't know. I could be better. But thank you guys once again, each and every one of you, for tuning in on this unconventional Thursday show. I appreciate it. I see Demon Girl said you wanted to see me react to the live stream. If it's still going on when I get through a little bit more content, I got a little bit more content that I got to do for the radio stuff. And after I'm done live here, I'm going to have to edit for a little bit to get it set up for radio. But I see some other comments coming in. Let's take a look at some of these. I was chilling watching this on my bed. My entire bed frame just collapsed. I guess it's time to eat a salad. Wow. Demon Girl, that's concerning. We'll never buy Budweiser products again, and I understand that. But in terms of the overall boycott, I think we need to have a unified message, and I think reconciliation of some kind is necessary, but not at the current moment. They haven't done anything that would be expected of them. Make sure you watch everything I said. I'm about to turn you back into a Democrat. How was I going to do that, DG? Come on. How could I do that? You know, I've switched. I have guys that I know that were, when they met me, they were ardent communists, told me that they were commies, and now they are conservatives. So it's mine. I don't know if that means I can read it on air. I want to share it, though. I appreciate the thought. And so if other people, I'll keep it private. I'll keep it private unless you tell me you want other people to hear it, then I'll share it. But I appreciate you writing me a poem. Everybody, if you want to know my email, so that if you have anything you want to say, feel free. Speechlesskp@gmail.com. If there's any stories, tips, anything like that, I'd be more than happy to share it. Please, please, please let me know. I'd really appreciate it. Do that. And if you want to support the show, as I've said, I'll be moving home while I am live right now in the radio station studio still. I'll be moving home and creating a home studio. There's a lot of things I could use, mics, some different softwares to upgrade my content even more and also keep up. Potentially a new camera as well. And so if you want to support the show in any way, again, not begging, but if you want to, it's the holidays. It's almost my birthday. I'm graduating from college. If you're feeling in the giving spirit, please consider giving in some way. I really, really appreciate it. And supporting the show in that way. If you have the means, again, I know it's hard in Biden's America and the Bidenomics that's going on, but thank you so much for your continuous support. That horrible Trump impression. Oh my God, it's terrible. I'm sorry. I'll stop. I just like having fun here, guys. I just like having a good time. Okay. Well, okay. So to end out, or at least end out the main part of this show of what I'm going to cut up for radio, and I can still keep going for a little bit longer tonight after I'm done with this portion. I got some TikToks. You guys know You guys know I love to react to TikToks, and so there's a lot to react to today. And so here we are with Speechless Reactions. Yep, we're going to react to some TikToks, everybody. Some liberal ones, some weird ones. We just got a lot I think that is important to go to. And if you are currently if you're listening on the recorded version of this that'll be playing on the radio, don't forget, you can go check this out. This video will already be on YouTube. I'm live streaming it as I record it. Don't forget to check out Speechless Kev on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share, comment, everything like that. But let's take a look and a listen at this first one. I'm absolutely fascinated by some of these. I tried to only watch about half of it so you could get more of a blind reaction. But if you're on the radio, go check these out. Or you can listen to them on there, but check it out, the video too. Here's the first one.
I'm a trans girl and I just want to pee in peace, but I'm afraid someone will see me and then call the police. I'm not some pervert or attacker, I just need to empty my bladder, so I'd really love it if you let me be. Repeat after me. I'm not afraid of my trans friend. I'm not afraid of my trans friend. I'm really afraid of cisgender men. I'm really afraid of cisgender men. I will let you pee in peace. I will let you pee in peace. Because I really don't want a UTI. Capiche?
Okay, I got to start off with this one. I got to applaud the creativity. I got to applaud the songwriting, the musical ability. Honestly, one of the better liberal TikToks I've ever watched on here. I got to say, all about peeing in peace. I'm a trans girl and I want to pee in peace. That's honestly hilarious in my opinion. The entirety of it, great editing on it too. But when it comes to everything that this guy said, and I say guy because we know, my biggest gripe with this one is the term cisgender. I firmly believe cisgender is a slur. It diminishes the fact that I was born and still believe I'm a male. Not only believe, but I know for a fact because biology tells me so as well. And I am comfortable enough in who I am to say that. So that's my biggest gripe with this entire thing. I feel like I don't want to complain about it that much because I'm actually impressed with the creativity. And it's not even like super mean or hateful to almost anybody. It does say that he'd be very afraid of me for being cisgender, but do it. Apparently I'm the boogeyman. Does that make you cisphobic, right? I'm always told I'm transphobic. This person blatantly said, and I'm not afraid of trans people by any means, but this guy basically, plain as day, said that he's afraid of cisgender men. You heterophobe. You cisgender phobe. I don't know, but that's got to be what it is, right? I don't know. Good one. I don't know if anybody could top that creativity in that one. I was impressed, genuinely. But here's this next one. This is apparently a male feminist. And so I'll tell you what I think about male feminists in a second, but just take a look and a listen to this one.
Women can physically only produce one baby a year, whereas a man can get an indefinite amount of women pregnant in a year. So why is it all the pressure on birth control is on women when the issue obviously lies with men?
So it's all men's job, apparently, to take care of birth control, or apparently they're not doing good enough of a job. You see, this doesn't make any sense to me because what he says in this is that it's all, or women are usually the ones
all the pressure
to take care of the birth control and everything. Okay, well, here's the thing is that men obviously have an obligation, and in every encounter, every story I've ever heard, men in some way usually do. It's actually the assumption in and of itself that women are the only ones with the pressure to deal with birth control in terms of a sexual relationship that in and of itself is sexist. Because the majority of society, as far as I know, it's usually a team effort in terms of it. If you don't want to get pregnant and you still want to have recreational sex, then you are both in the same boat on that one. And so the man usually deals with getting a condom, and then the woman deals with whatever form of birth control that she has to deal with. It's a team effort. And here's the thing about male feminists. Never trust a male feminist, because usually those are the ones that are most likely to want to use women the most. Because they're like, yeah, go get an abortion. I don't want to have to deal with any kind of consequences. In fact, I'll even pay for it so that I don't have to deal with a baby. and I can keep on sleeping around. You know, I don't know the exact statistics on it, but I would be fascinated to see whether or not male feminists, people identify themselves as feminists that are also biologically male, it's important there, have a higher rate of sexually transmitted diseases. I would believe they do, especially as this one right here says that apparently all forms of birth control is a pressure that's put on women. I don't know. Very interesting. Very interesting. I got another one here. And this one, if you're watching on YouTube or anything, or YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, or Rumble, this one might scare you a little bit. So content warning as I pull it up here. Oh gosh, look at this lovely individual. I'm just so excited to see what it has to say. Let's take a look and listen.
So I have this thing, call it a little quirk, if you will. I have hair in my armpit. I have it there for a few reasons. 1, lazy. 2, fuck the patriarchy. And 3, your response to them tells me everything I need to know about you.
Okay. I gotta make sure I think about this for a second. Okay, so this person is coming out and saying, look at me. Look at all these things I have. I have hair under my armpits. Also, I love how it doesn't even mention like the weirdly shaved head and the curls coming down from the sides and also the odd ponytail in the back. It kind of looks like the opposite of a haircut that like a monk would have. Like if you like inverted like where the hair is. And then also I have hair on my armpits and I'm basically saying, I know I'm disgusting. Look at me. But if you look at me and you make a comment, which I am practically begging for, then it says so much about you. You're posting this to social media too. You obviously you're attention seeking and then getting mad when attention is given to you. This person is a patent idiot. Or a patent narcissist. That's honestly what I think it is. Not just dumb. This person's a narcissist. They are so self-absorbed in which they made themselves look as odd as possible and do everything that is out of conventional norms in some fashion of a rebellion for attention-seeking behavior, saying, look at me, but then as soon as you look at them, they get mad at you. It's likely a she, it looks like a she, kind of. But that's essentially what's going on with that one. All right, I got another one. And also the patriarchy thing. F the patriarchy at the end was just kind of funny too. Okay, because apparently the patriarchy tells you that you need to shave your armpits. Look, no, the patriarchy doesn't really care whether or not you shave your the patriarchy that's non-existent, by the way, too. The patriarchy doesn't really care if you shave your armpits. But I can tell you that your chances of getting a quality mate, if it's straight or if it is attracted to men, if you're trying to look for a high quality man, you're not going to find it unless you look like you take care of yourself. And the only thing it looks like this person takes care of is like several gordita crunch wraps from Taco Bell, the super cheesy ones. So I don't know, but let's take a look at this one. This one was just absolutely crazy to me. This person, this is a person who happens to be of the alphabet mafia going off on a Christian, going absolutely off on a Christian. Take a look and listen.
I need to preach the word of God out here. I need to reach people out here. Well, why don't you explain to me why what I'm doing is
Oh.
wrong? No, I'm gonna preach.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
No, you're not.
Led by the Holy Spirit.
Word. This is the neighborhood, and you are not welcome.
That's why I need to be here. You need Jesus, man.
That person needs more than Jesus. That person needs an exorcism. Jeez. If that is your reaction. Okay, so this reminds me of something that happened on my campus, Illinois State University, not too long ago. There was a guy that went out on our quad, and he basically went out there. And here's the thing. So I'm a Catholic. I'm a Christian. I believe in the word of God. And I also believe that you should try your best to evangelize other people, bring other people into the faith. any Christian faith is to an extent a good one. There are some that are more woke than others, or even certain dioceses that are more woke than others, but that's besides the point. I do have a disagreement with some people in the way that they go out on quads and preach, because they'll go out and basically yell at everybody that you're a sinner and you're going to hell. And like, it sounds really aggressive, and you're not going to really convince anybody by being like, you're going to hell, because everybody will hear that and then they won't listen to the part after that says, unless you accept Jesus. Because you just kind of opened up. That's just bad sales. Like, nobody, if you go up to somebody and tell them you're going to go to hell, it's probably not going to end well, and they're not going to want to listen to you. But at the same time, we also had a lot of people on our campus that were ranting and raving, went out in front of this dude, waving gay flags and then posting on social media how terrible this guy is and how he should be removed from our campus. So in terms of this TikTok that I just looked at and listened to, this is exactly I have a problem with, not necessarily both people. I don't know exactly how this guy was preaching, but I have a problem with how this lady responded to it just as much as I did with the people on campus. Look, if somebody is talking about something publicly that you don't like, you can engage them in productive conversation, or you can walk away. Actually, technically, you can do all these other things too. You can scream at the top of your lungs like an absolute banshee, but what good does that actually do? All she said, you need to effing leave. You need to effing leave. And that's the crazy thing about leftists, is like, most conservatives that I know, if somebody is out in public saying something they disagree with, they will either do one of those two things. They will go up and have productive conversation, or they will walk right past and not let it bother them in their day. But there are a lot of people on the left where even the presence of somebody who has a differing belief system than they do, even the presence of them will make them go absolutely psychotic. And I'm sure it's happened with people on the right sometimes, but there's a reason why there's a libs of TikTok and not a conservatives of TikTok. That's my thoughts on that one. That lady is crazy and doesn't just need Jesus. She needs an exorcism. All right, I got one more for you guys here in terms of the TikTok land and things that I find that are absolutely, I guess that's actually it. I've realized I ran out of them, but I also wanted to point out too that she said this is the gayborhood and you shouldn't be in the gayborhood. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. But let's see what some of these comments say. I got a little bit more stuff that's off radio content that I'll bring to you guys. I want to know what what your guys' thoughts are on all of these things. Please, please, please let me know. I don't think she needs to worry about the patriarchy getting near her. Yeah, it's another good one there. People are really unhinged. She needs someone like me who could shout her down in a second. LOL. That being said, so many street preachers also do more harm than good. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say, is like, the street isn't always necessarily yelling at people or even trying to just evangelize people on the streets of New York City isn't necessarily the best way to go about it. There's so many better ways to do so. Cultivating great relationships with people. It's like personal selling is really the way that I recommend it, is if you can have a personal sales type way of going up to somebody, founding a relationship with them, getting to know them, and then eventually working in, hey, like, I'm also a follower of Jesus Christ. That would be a good way to evangelize somebody. But going out and being like, you need to read the Bible, is just not the best way, in my opinion. I remember the God Squad when I was in college. They were crazy. They would talk explicitly about sex and were just a mess. It was a total cluster F. I can't believe God was proud of that behavior. LOL. That's what happens when you don't hard check people who demand you wear a mask. Yeah. Let them show the stupidity and it will show you who is under demon control. Next exit true. Absolutely. I did have something else I wanted to show you guys. This probably won't air on the radio just because it doesn't really fit in terms of radio content. But I really like this. I think this video was very good and also speaks a little bit to the idea of woke advertising. Now, some conservatives were coming out and hailing this ad saying, Chevy abandons woke advertising, says F you to woke advertising. I don't necessarily think this commercial does that, but it is nice to see an advertisement that celebrates the idea of Christmas, and it's in a more kind version of what Christmas is actually supposed to be about. And before I play it, I do want to remind everybody, if anybody's just tuning in or you're watching at a later date, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. I'd really appreciate it. Definitely subscribe, keep that going up, and share it with your friends and tell them to subscribe too. continuously trying to grow the page, and it's a great way you can support without spending a single dollar. But let's get into this. Chevy, this Christmas ad by Chevy hits just all the right points. It is 5 minutes long, and I'm probably not going to pause it simply for the fact that it is emotional. And like, honestly, for some out there, if you're a more sensitive individual, prep yourself with some tissues. A lot of people are saying that this advertisement has made them cry. And so take a look and listen. We'll react to this today.
Over there.
Gramps? Hope we got you a present. We hope you like it. Come on.
How is she?
Good days and bad hours, but the love is always there.
More bad days than good?
But some days is when she doesn't even recognize me.
I'm so sorry, Daddy.
Let's make today a good day.
Hang on a second. You'll need these, Tracy.
Yes, Mom.
And don't be too long.
An absolutely beautiful truck.
Yeah. Okay. Ready? Yeah. Right. Yeah. All right. Get your seatbelt on. Look at you. Woo! Yeah!
Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy.
Some good lights this year, right? I wonder if it'll snow. Never seems to snow, it's just you two. Oh, shakes from Bittersweet Cafe.
I tell the tale, sure to make you
Saginaw?
You were actually born in that house.
Oh.
Here's your old high school.
Wish that I could wish for you.
Bill.
My first horror movie. I'm not sure Mom ever forgave you for that.
We put a whole lot of you in the back of this thing.
Yeah, that's right. Me, Chris, Jeff, Phil.
Jeff is a troublemaker.
Makes me happy. Sunshine in my eyes can make me cry. Sunshine.
Gramps says this is where he first kissed you.
No.
Look so lovely.
I kissed him. He was far too shy.
Almost
Bill, I need to see Bill. Oh, he can't do the dinner alone.
Sunshine, almost all the time, makes me high. Sunshine, almost always.
Oh, my love. It's good to be together. Be careful.
I got it.
Watch your step. You got it?
I do.
You have it? All right.
I have it. You've always been the clever one.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Ah, Merry Christmas.
Let's go in.
If I had a day that I could give you, I'd give to you a day just like today.
See, it's things like that that I just find beauty still in society. And that gives me a little bit of hope. I got to be honest. I know that some of you guys might out there that might have made you sad. There's others that you might have a similar, like I have conflicting feelings on it because I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's an amazing story about a granddaughter reconnecting with her grandmother, who's obviously going through some form of like Alzheimer's or dementia. And like reconnecting her with her past, bringing her out of the shell and cloud that she's obviously in. There's a lot of beauty to it, in my opinion. But I also am a little conflicted because I wish it was just a short film and wasn't just like Chevrolet at the end. I always think that kind of stuff is kind of funny. Like you'll have a very, very emotional and like heartfelt commercial advertisement, something like that. And it'll have nothing to do with the product itself or very minimal. I mean, obviously they were driving in a Chevy, and there was other Chevys that they passed in the commercial, but like it'll have very, very little to do with with it themselves. And a lot of times it's car commercials. It's like people going about their day and having some kind of profound experience. And then it's Chevrolet or Toyota or Lexus or Jeep, Ford, whatever it is. And like, I think it's a beautiful, beautiful story, but I just always found that a little funny. But I want to know what you guys think. Don't forget to let me know in the comments exactly what you're thinking. I just think that what in a world in which Target pushes swimsuits and trans wear for children, where Bud Light brings the trans or puts the trans into transgender for their advertising, or you have all these other companies that are focused on ESG scores and pushing Black Lives Matter and leftist agendas, the climate crisis for so many car companies, especially. It was nice to see a more wholesome understanding of how to get your brand name out there and also celebrate in a happy time that also they're recognizing can have conflicting opinions or conflicting feelings in the fact of maybe you've lost, like I've lost somebody very close to me around Christmas time just a few years ago. And so it can bring up conflicting opinions. Not necessarily loss of a person in terms of death, but loss of somebody due to age and whatever can come with that. Like I said, Alzheimer's or dementia. And so I think that that's just such a better way to connect with people rather than focusing on a lot of the woke crap that so many other advertisers are. And so I have a lot of appreciation for that. But let's get to some other of the comments. It's pretty much all the content that I had prepared for today. I will go check up and see what's going on with that transgender I've reacted to in the past because I was asked to, at least by Demon Gorl, and see if that individual is still live. And we will live stream that person's live stream on my YouTube. Let me see what the link is so I can pull it up before I get to some of these comments. Lily Tino is live on TikTok. We're going to go find it. Lily Tino. Still live, but let's get to some comments first. So-called Christmas was just the emperor constant. See, DG, I understand where you're coming from this, but it just feels so sad to me. Like to look at it this way, to be like, oh my God, it's Christmas is just not at least celebrated as a happy time with family. It can be a happy time of the year, especially when it's usually colder and dark and everything. And you hate John Denver. That's a mortal sin to hate John Denver. I disagree heavily. I am a bit of a sap. I'm sorry. A touching story can touch me. Just like all the Catholic priests when I was a boy. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Don't come after me. I am a Catholic. I can make the joke. But yeah, it's a bit sappy, but I like it. I thought it was cute. And I figured it's worth sharing. Exactly. This, Lucas, is exactly what I'm saying. Okay, so this is the person. You guys remember the person that gets misgendered in restaurants? Apparently, he's live right now, which is quote unquote misgendering him. But let's take a look at the page. I hope you guys remember this one. This is very funny to me. So we'll take a look at this. This is the page. Just to remind you of who this individual is. And now let's go. Apparently, this individual is live. So let's check it out. Let's bring me to a different page. San Francisco Adventures. Ooh, so fun and exciting.
Hold for that. There we go. Slurp, slurp, slurp. You good? Cool.
So here's the thing: is there's
There we go.
4,000 people that are currently watching this right now.
Rosha, got it. Hello, Rosha.
How is this fun for
Thanks
anybody?
clarifying.
How is anybody entertained by watching this person just sit there? Are they just like waiting for him to get misgendered? Is that what's going on right now?
Thank you, Harriet. Okay. Roxy. Hello, Roxy. Roxy said, hi, only $5 today. $5 is a lot of money. It adds up. Thank you. But I finally
People are
subscribed.
giving this
Wanna
money
keep up
too.
with one of my faves. Have a good meal with a heart.
People
eye
are
emoji,
giving this
and
money.
2 red
Real
heart
thing.
emojis.
Real
Brittany.
thing.
Not Brittany. Roxy, because
Like, what
Brittany is
kind
the
of
name I was looking
value?
at, because Brittany is the one who sent a gift after that. Brittany sent $5.
What
Thank
kind
you.
of value?
And sent a red
You
heart
want to know
emoji.
why you're in college
The
debt? It's
noise is
because
the
you're
heater
giving
being
money to
rolled
this
over.
dude.
Thank you.
When he
Would it be
brings
possible to
nothing
put
of
it
value.
like
He's not bringing
here-ish so I
news.
can
He's not
really
bringing
feel the
anything.
warmth?
Like, he's
Thank
not
you.
entertaining. He's just sitting at a restaurant. Sitting while trans apparently is a way to just
How
get money
far-
on TikTok.
So is there no heat to be had
Demon
tonight
Boral,
then?
I hope you're happy you're making me do this. Live too. This is live too. Like this individual, this man, and it keeps going up.
So is there no more heat
3.1
outside
thousand people
then?
watching right now.
No more heaters? I don't think I'll be able to, if it's not under the plastic, I don't think I'll be able to feel it, unfortunately.
This is insane to me. This is like this is live right now. I'm live streaming it on my channel as well. Like, real thing that people watch and care. I don't know. I'm very happy. Well, I'm happy you're happy. John Denver is a true patriot, Andrea, and I'm happy you're on my side with this one.
Because it'll catch them.
All right, guys. I can also open up the phone lines if you want to share an opinion. 309-451-9299. I'll bring you on.
What's the weather going to be
If you have
tonight?
anything
Let's
to
look
share
into
about
that.
anything, I can keep this going for
I do have
quite
a
a bit
warm
more
jacket,
time. If you want to
so
have a
that's
conversation or anything, I'll put that
42.9
number up
right now.
on the screen.
Daddy Dakota, I see you. I promise. Just want to get this figured
There
out
we go.
first.
If you want to text, if you want to call in and you want to have a conversation, talk about literally anything,
Watch.
I'm down for it. This will be my last time in the studio consistently. I might come back here and there, but
God,
this
I
will
do
be my
not care
last time
about
in
the
the
air-
studio.
the
so
air
the phone
quality.
line
I
is
have the
open
jacket. Jacket
if
is
you want to
good.
talk.
But yeah, that's like 10 feet away from me. It's not going to do anything.
I'm so done with this individual. Like, he's literally just sitting at the restaurant. I guess he didn't get misgendered yet, and so it's not interesting. But I got the phone line open. I'll give you a little bit to call. We can also, I mean, if any other ideas for content or anything, if you guys want to, I will react to anything right now. I have time, a little bit of time tonight, to where if you want to have a conversation, you can call in. If you want to hear me react to anything, you can send me the link. I'll go check my Gmail right now in case anybody has. speechlesskp@gmail. You can call in at that number that's right there. Write it down or something, because I'm going to put up my Gmail next. Or if you're one of the few people that has my personal phone number, you are more than welcome to send me or to text me something you want me to react to too. That's how I got that last video. But I also see, oh, this is cute. I see Andrea's email. Thank you for that one. I'll keep that private. That's very nice of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you as we're coming nearer and nearer to the holidays. Yeah, that poor dog is right. Seriously. But as we come nearer and nearer to the holidays, I just want you guys to know it's just a good time to remind everybody how appreciative I am of you, each and every one of you. And if you're watching later, I appreciate you too. I just, it's meant a lot to me to be able to build this channel over the year and continue building it. And I know that there's going to be some changes with the fact that I'm graduating college, but and moving home for a little, and then next fall I'm probably moving somewhere else. So it just means a lot to me that you guys have stuck with me every step of the way. And as I said on Sunday, and I will continue to say, the best is yet to come. Every day, I'm only getting smarter. I'm getting stronger with everything that I do, just as much as I hope you guys are on a similar path in whatever your goals and future aspirations are. And so stick with me, and we will be on the road to saving this country in some way as much as we can through getting the truth out there. So very interesting. Raven, you've missed most of the show. I'm now kind of just going through anything you guys want me to talk about. If there's a story that I missed, haven't talked about yet, I'd be more than happy to cover it. And so that's pretty much what I'm out here doing. I will. And so I got this up here right now because somebody asked me to bring up the live stream of this tranny that goes into restaurants and eats with his dog, and that then apparently gets paid for it by people, provides no actual serious benefit to society. Somebody just said your eyeliner is uneven in the comment section, and that's what I caught, which I think is funny. You can't even dress like a girl well, and yet you're expecting people to call you ma'am instead of man. Interesting. Yeah, this person, okay, I'm bringing this to full screen again. I'm reacting to these comments. Why are people sending money? My very same question. Why would you send money to somebody like this? They are providing no value to you. What kind of value is worth sending any money? Well, that's good. I'm happy for that. Or not good. I thought I said has is first, but hasn't been suggesting live shows to me very well. Well, you'll start seeing more of them as I move home and everything. I will be live more. Get the word out when I go home, because and I might still go live on some Sundays, not all, because I'll be pre-recording my content for the radio. And so if there are any other stories you want me to cover in today's live show, I can do so. Just let me know what it is, how it is. I'm going to check my email here again, see if I got anything new from anybody. But if not, I still have to go through and edit the audio for everything that I'm live for right now so that it can be prepped for the radio on Sunday. Sunday. So, yes. But I'm done with that one right now. I don't see anything coming in. If I do, I will save it for my next live stream, which will likely be, I got to say, probably sometime next week. I'll hopefully have some content out for you guys, or at least some clips from any of these if you missed any part of it or you want to rewatch a short clip. And I'll also have more shorts coming out in the next several days. But everybody, I will be graduating again this Saturday, marketing and political science degrees, moving home for a bit. And so as I say, and I've said a few times, but if you're just tuning in, and you want to support the show to help me build my home studio out, make it better, also be able to make some more portable content, get some mics that I can take on the road with me to different events and places, I would love to be able to do so. Finances are, of course, an issue as I get ready to pay for law school, and I've had expenses throughout my undergraduate days. And so if you'd be willing to help out at all, I'd always appreciate it. Thank you so much for all of your support, whether it's financial or even just by liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting. But I got to get out of here, everybody. I got this editing to do. But like I said, always send me content that you guys like. Next time you'll see me, I will be at home with a setup studio. God bless you. God bless America. And until next time, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Speechless.